Removing and reassembling the internal parts of a Guardian K81D fire hydrant with a Topstop. Stop the flow of water to the hydrant by closing the auxiliary valve. Verify the hydrant is not under pressure by removing one of the hose caps and partially opening the hydrant. Remove the dirt shield. Using an Allen wrench, back out the set screw of the stem lock nut. The set screw may remain partially threaded in the stem lock nut to ensure it isn't lost. Remove the stem lock nut with a wrench by turning clockwise. Remove the operating nut by unthreading it from the upper stem. Using the Kennedy valve stop nut wrench, remove the stop nut from the upper stem and interior of the bonnet. Remove the hydrant bonnet nuts and bolts. Set aside for later use. Carefully lift the bonnet assembly straight up and off the stem. Remove the bonnet O-ring or gasket, depending on year of manufacture. Lower the seat removing wrench over the stem until it seats and engages on the square of the stem breaker coupling. Put the nut supplied with the wrench on the exposed threads of the upper stem. Thread the nut down to hold the main valve assembly in the closed position. Rotate the wrench counterclockwise to separate the below-ground lower stem assembly from the bronze insert ring in the shoe. Remove the wrench. Remove the stem assembly by pulling it straight up through the upper barrel of the hydrant. Take care not to dislodge the O-rings by rubbing the seat ring against the inside of the hydrant barrel. Protect the threads of the upper stem by wrapping with a rag. Remove the bottom plate by turning counterclockwise as noted by the arrow. Remove the main valve rubber. Inspect the sealing surface, verifying that it's smooth and free from debris. Replace if necessary. Inspect the beveled sealing surface of the seat ring. It should be smooth and unobstructed. Inspect the drain valve facing and the O-rings on the seat ring. Replace if necessary. Replace the main valve rubber so its beveled edge mates with the bevel of the seat ring. Attach the bottom plate. Tighten to 300 foot-pounds. Arrange the brass drain valve and the seat ring in the closed position. Lubricate the O-rings and threads of the seat. Lower the stem valve assembly into the hydrant. Utilizing the seat-removing wrench, slowly rotate the stem assembly counterclockwise until the starter thread engages. Rotate the wrench clockwise until securely tightened to 100 foot-pounds. Inspect and replace the hydrant bonnet O-ring or gasket, depending on the year of manufacture. Inspect the O-rings in the neck of the bonnet assembly and lubricate with grease. Replace if necessary. Carefully lower the bonnet assembly over the upper stem. Reinstall the bonnet nuts and bolts. Tighten finger tight only. Using the Kennedy valve stop nut wrench, thread the stop nut all the way down the thread of the upper stem. Use a dab of grease to secure the stop nut onto the wrench. Lubricate the operating nut with a small amount of grease internally and on the thrust collar. Thread it onto the upper stem inside the bonnet until completely engaged. Carefully install the stem lock nut over the operating nut. Rotate counterclockwise, tightening to 150 foot-pounds. Using an Allen wrench, tighten the set screw of the stem lock nut. Replace the dirt shield. Tighten to 75 foot-pounds. Using an alternating pattern, tighten the bonnet nuts and bolts evenly to a minimum of 75 foot-pounds. Open and close the hydrant fully to assure smooth and easy operation. With the hydrant in the closed position, slightly loosen one hose cap so that any trapped air may bleed out. Open the auxiliary valve to start the flow of water. Completely open the hydrant. When the water starts flowing from the hydrant, tighten the hose nozzle cap and inspect all joint connections for leaks. Close the hydrant completely. Loosen a nozzle cap to assist the hydrant draining. The hydrant is now in service and ready to operate. This completes the process of removing and reassembling the internal parts of the Kennedy Guardian K81D fire hydrant with a Topstop.